St. Louis City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. City Boys in the loop.
Shout out to the St. Louis City Boys podcast.
They're in your head just like Roman Berkey. This is a City Boys podcast.
City leads you into the City Boys podcast right now.
Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. My name is Ethan, and I am joined by two of my best friends. And tonight, we are going to be talking about St. Louis City's loss to Austin FC that happened over the weekend. We are going to break it down for you, go through the lineups, give our points on the match, kit clash, of course, and then preview the Colorado Rapids.
Who's talking right now?
Before we get into that, I'll introduce my shadow, my mime. Jacob, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well, Ethan. Thank you for that wonderful intro. Who was saying it? Was it me or was it him? The world may never know. My weekend was solid. I spent it in Colombia with my girlfriend, and what did we do? I went to a family reunion, met a lot of people at a family reunion. If you guys are watching, I'm sorry, I don't remember your names. There was a lot of people for me to meet. Sue me. Grayson, how was your weekend?
It's pretty solid. Nothing to write home about. I had a good time. Yeah. That's pretty easy, huh? That's pretty easy. Ethan, how was your weekend, brother?
Can't complain about an easy weekend, Grayson. Around these parts, boys, it was Kentucky Derby time over the weekend. So the city was just about shut down. I lost a good chunk of money betting on some horses, and that is just about my weekend. I did get featured on the Kentucky Derby Instagram, so I am basically very famous now. The City Boys are not sponsored by the Kentucky Derby, unfortunately. Maybe one day. But until then, until the City Boys are sponsored, we will continue breaking it down. And then once we are, we're going to break it down even harder somehow.
So hard.
It'll be the hardest breakdowns you've ever seen.
Either way, let's get into this matchup, boys. It was not super great, but Jacob, you're taking us through the lineups, right?
I am taking us through the lineups, and once again, the change that we asked for didn't come in massive numbers like we want or kind of expect at this point. And yeah, it's still the same formation, practically all the same players. That includes Roman Berkey between the sticks. We don't want to see him taken out of the lineup. We did get a back three of Lucas McNaughton, Timo Baumgartel, and Dante Polvara with a little bit of a mix-up in the midfield. We have Thomas Totland at left wing back. Miggy Perez is that mix-up at the double pivot with Chris Durkin right next to him and Conrad Vollum at the right wing back position. We did get 58 solid minutes out of Edu Leuven in one of the 10s with Marcel Hartl as the other 10, and then Simon is a fraud betcher leading the way up top. If you watch the game, you know what I mean. We did have 5 substitutions for the match. We saw Sergio Cordova come in. We got to see Mamadou Mbake again. Falou Fall finally made an appearance this season in the back line. Makai Joyner did sub on, and Brendan McSorley's only stat recorded for the match is he got a yellow card. And that would be our 11 and subs.
Pretty solid from McSorley there. I like that.
You can't say he didn't get involved.
It's a good cameo.
I'm not mad at a subbed on yellow card. I would be a fraud myself if I was.
Yeah, I think I don't want to talk about too much positive stuff from this match, even though that was kind of my point last week, that we need to find the positives. I'm tired of it. There's none. Okay, there's one little one. The one little positive I have from this week, I'm not going to talk about it. My point is Miguel Perez. I actually really liked Miguel Perez's cameo into the starting 11. I don't know how often we're going to see that, but I actually thought he played pretty well. I liked what he brought. He's got a different look than Edelman does. He actually looks forward a lot. He made a couple big chances, and he makes really interesting runs forward. He likes to get forward, and that pushes the opponent's defenders around, and it mixes up a little bit. And I just like what he brings to the side. So yeah, Miggy Perez gets Gets a positive from me. I would like to see more of him. That's about it.
I'm with you on that, Grayson. I think that the side would benefit from a little bit more Miguel Perez. I think he and Daniel Edelman complement each other in different ways, a little bit like yin and yang, because what Daniel Edelman offers on the defensive end, I think Miguel Perez could use a little bit more of. And what Miguel Perez offers on the attacking end, I think Daniel Edelman could use a little bit more of. So I'd be interested maybe in the Open Cup to see the two play in the double pivot role together and maybe rest Chris Durkin a little bit. But I will say when the ball falls to Miguel Perez in an attacking area, I feel much more confident about his strike than I would about Chris Durkin or Daniel Edelman at this point in the season. So I liked seeing him. I thought he and Edu being featured in the starting 11 was somewhat of a change. And it was very nice to see Edu starting for us. Although I think that Sergio Cordova should have started this game. I know that hindsight is 2020, but his loan spell is running out quick. He is down to almost a handful of games. So I want to see if he can do anything. It seems like the experiment has failed. I don't think anyone wants to re-sign Cordova yet, but he still has a little bit of time to make a name for himself. And I think we should give him the chance after this game.
In a similar thought process, I feel that way about Cedric Toyshirt as his contract does end in June, and we haven't seen a ton of him over the last season and a quarter. We're a quarter of the way through this season now. Well, actually, I think we're up to a third. We haven't really got to see Cedric Toyshirt that much this season. Now, the way that could have worked out for this game specifically is maybe have Edu play the entirety of the second half as opposed to a start in order to get him those extra minutes. Because as you guys probably will agree, our quality dropped off after Edu subbed off the field. And I think Cedric Toyshirt in that first half would have kept us just as competitive, and then we could have risen quite a bit once Edu had come on in the second half. But like you said, hindsight is 2020.
I also wouldn't mind seeing Ito back in the pivot again, having Toykert and Cordova in front of him with Marcel Hartl, just to fit in all our players that we want to see play.
At this point, I am interested in whatever kind of different look that we can get because we have been clamoring for change. We haven't seen it yet, and it's getting more and more clear to me that we don't have the personnel available to completely fit Demay's system, because I do believe in Demay's system and tactics. I think it will work when we have the right personnel. And so I'm going to mention one more player in the starting 11 before we quickly get through the game, and it's Conrad Vollum. Guys, I am begging for some time on the bench for Conrad Vollum. I have not been impressed so far this season. I hope I can be proven wrong as the season runs on, but right now it's hard to spot too many positives in his game, and I just want to see either Totland or Orozco. It could even be Santos on that right side and someone else on the left, but I am clamoring for a change at his position specifically.
So through the first 45, I mean, we started the match, the first 6 minutes, we looked god awful. We were staring down the barrel, had two big saves out of Roman Berkey, and then the rest of the first half, St. Louis seemed to be, more on the front foot and had Austin on the back foot. So going into the second half, I felt confident about getting at least a point out of this match, and then things just took a hard left turn in the second half.
Yep. The ball gets cleared out after a corner, swung back around the top of the box, and Christian Ramirez gets free on the back post. Guys, it seems like it's a broken record kind of moment right now. It seems like almost every game this season we have had a goal scored at the back post from some kind of cross because the defenders aren't marking an attacker, and it is so frustrating because it is mind-bogglingly easy to get close to an attacker when you're defending in that situation. And I am quite sure they are not being coached to defend space and nobody in attacking moments. So seeing St. Louis City concede this first goal is very frustrating. It seems like we just cannot figure out defending crosses, period. Whether they're on the ground, whether they're in the air, if we're tracking back, if we're trying to attack them, it's brutal watching that first goal go in.
This goal really frustrated me because I know we had talked about it in the offseason, not picking up Christian Ramirez, but of course it's Christian Ramirez who scores the goal against us. LA Galaxy waived him after they signed João Klaus from St. Louis. And this was a proven MLS goal scorer just sitting there on the market for fairly cheap, all things considered. And we've taken a chance with Sergio Cordova, who has one goal on the season, and Simon Betcher, who has one goal on the season, and Christian Ramirez had a goal and an assist, which Grayson is going to break down.
Yeah, I guess. So this is another transitional moment, I believe, from a corner. Brad Stuver collects our chance, and as he's trying to release Austin downfield, instead of rushing back to his position, Mbake Fall decides to get in Stuver's face and try to throw him off a little bit. Stuver gets around him, releases the ball. Everyone's tearing, trying to get back in position, but it would be too late. Christian Ramirez would find the perfect touch to slot it across to Mirtel or Azuni, who picks out the corner far too easily, just outside the reach of Falu Fall. And it's another painful one in transition. It seems like we are highly we really just get exposed on offensive corners. We're really terrible in transition, and something that's very interesting, St. Louis City actually is in third for most corner kicks in the season. So if exactly, we're not scoring from these corner kicks, and we're also terrible in defense just after a corner kick. So either we need to start scoring on corner kicks, which I actually will say we did have some positive play. We had a set piece from a corner where Marcel Hartl, kind of boxed out and left Betcher with a little touch in at the near post from a low cross from Inu Leuven. So I'm glad to see that we're at least trying something new, because we cannot keep getting caught out like this. Because at some point they're just going to start letting us have offensive corners so they can count us out, and that scares me. I don't want to be that club.
Yeah, the thought of attacking corners being a chance for the opposing team is gut-wrenching. That should never be the standard for St. Louis City. And I will say we have had a lot of chances on corners so far this season. I even remember the San Jose game. It seemed like we were just a crossbar and post magnet. So I feel like it will come. I hope so, at least. Honestly, there's been nothing to show us that so far this season.
We're the opposite of Arsenal right now. They only score corner kicks. We only get scored on our own corner kicks.
Before we move on from this game, there was one big St. Louis City moment that I want to talk about on the podcast, even though it is a pretty regrettable moment in the grand scheme of this St. Louis City season, which would be Marcel Hartl and Simon Betcher getting through an attack. It's a 2v0 chance. In on goal, St. Louis City have a chance to, I believe, take the lead? I believe this would have put us up 1-0. So 5 minutes before their first goal. And unfortunately, Marcel Hartl maybe holds the ball just a second too long and elects to pass it to Simon Betcher, and it's just too far in front of him. Simon Betcher can't catch up to it and puts it into the side netting. Just a pretty good summation of St. Louis's season so far, having plenty of chances and not being able to take them. And then we're playing from behind once again, whether it's 15 minutes into the game or 70 minutes into the game. This could be the league's worst miss of the season. I think it's up there for it. And we talked about it before the pod. We might have the goal of the season and the miss of the season so early on this year.
It hurts because it's just another example that shows we are getting chances. We'd be so much better if we had players who could actually score. That's a bummer.
This is one of those moments where I would feel way better if Marcel Hartl kept the ball and shot it himself, as opposed to trying to play Betcher through. He's our best attacking threat at the moment, and I would much rather see him try to beat Stuver himself than what ended up happening.
Like, I appreciate unselfishness, but Marcel, you're our best player by 10 miles. Okay, Edu's back. Maybe not 10.
Just a brutal miss regardless, man.
Yeah.
One of them has to put it away at the end of the day.
Yeah. Jeez. Should we get into our points, gentlemen?
Let's do it. Someone's got to bring home the 3 points for St. Louis City fans. Who wants to kick it off?
I can just start it off.
Let it rip, Grayson.
This isn't going to be positive, okay? So I'm sorry. It's not. I don't think it's going to be like last week where it starts bad and it turns good. I don't have any positives here. We are nearing rock bottom. That's my point title. This was our most winnable game this season on paper. The Revolution, our only win, has improved so much. They're in second place now in their division, in the East Division, and are so much better than Austin. We can no longer argue that our schedule is the most difficult, and that's why we're so bad. No, we lose to the bad teams too. Don't worry, guys. We share the love, okay? If I had to rank this loss amongst terrible moments in St. Louis City history, it would be number one would be losing to Kansas City in playoffs in season 1. I think that's top tier worst moment in history. Number 2, losing to Kansas City in playoffs, or sorry, not playoffs, losing to Kansas City in regular season 2-0 last year during the Olaf Melberg black hole. Just losing, dropping points, giving them away. Sound familiar? Now, Austin FC bearing us 2-0 down, missed chances and more missed chances. St. Louis City is awful. That is, we're in number 3 here in worst moments in St. Louis City history, and we can keep, hoping to advance in the U.S. Open Cup. But we need to be so much better than this if we want to keep going. No, I don't think we're making the playoffs this year. It's a bummer to be saying that so early, but I fear I can see it now. I love this team, but we are worse than we were last year. It's crazy to me that we got a new sporting director, a new coach, and became worse than what we were last year. It's incredible. Listen, we have 5 matches until the World Cup. 5 matches till we get a month-long break, basically. The 5th match is Austin FC. DC United's in there. LAFC's in there. So it's a mixed bag. But Austin's the last one. We have the World Cup. Guess who we face first game after? KC. So I have one question, or one thing I'm begging for St. Louis City. Do not make me add to this list. Please. Let's get better. And just, I'm so excited for the World Cup. Let's not taint it, okay? Let's build up to the World Cup. Let's get things rolling here, because I'm not excited.
Yeah, I'm more excited for the break.
Yeah,
that
really.
The city will get, and we will get as a fan.
Oof. That's all I got for my point. Do you guys have any problems with my list? Most terrible moments in St. Louis City. Do you have anything you could add? I was low-key thinking Celio's injury is up there for me.
That's top 5 probably, but I think your list is pretty spot on, G.
Yeah.
Selling João Klaus.
Unfortunately.
That's got to be in there.
Yeah, it's dark times early on.
Yeah.
Dark days. Jacob, you want to go next?
No.
All right. That's fine. I don't mind. I'll get mine out of the way because, like Grayson, my point this week is also not going to be very positive. Guys, I have complained a lot about St. Louis City leaking goals this season. I've complained about substitutions. And my point this week is that nothing changes if nothing changes. And we have not seen any changes. Nothing has changed in the side since we have started struggling. We got a win against the Chicago Fire, and we saw a slightly rotated attack with Toykert and Cordova starting. But largely behind the attack, things have remained the same. For the past combination of games, we have seen now that Edu's getting back, we've seen Edu and Miguel Perez in the team, but largely it looks across the back like McNaughton, Baumgartel, and Polvara, and then the midfield of Totland, Durkin, Edelman, and Vollum. And it has just simply not been good enough. We have not been preventing goals with this back seven. We have not been scoring goals with the midfielders. Haven't been very productive. Thomas Totland grabbed a goal in the Open Cup that realistically should have been an Edu 11 goal, but got cleared off the line. I'm nitpicking at this point, but my point stands and is a good piece of advice if you ever need to take one with you from the City Boys podcast of all places. Nothing changes in life if nothing changes. If you need to make changes in your life, you got to make changes to your daily habits. And if St. Louis City wants to make changes to the results, I think they need to make changes to the team and maybe potentially the tactics until DeMay has the right personnel for the job. Whether that be seeing Mbake fall and Falou fall on defense, whether that be Miguel Perez and Edu Levin or Thomas Ostrak and Miguel Perez in the midfield, whether it's Santos and Totland on the wingback position, whether it's Joyner at the wingback position. I don't care at this point. I do not care. If it's McSorley starting up top, something has got to change in the side, and I think then we will see changes in the results. But until then, of course, nothing is changing. So that's my point for this week. I want to see changes in the starting 11, whether it's in the Open Cup or in this upcoming match against Colorado. I can't imagine a world in which St. Louis City improves if the team continues to stay the same as it has been. So that's my point for this week.
Poof. Drop the mic.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Ethan. And I think part of the change that needs to come, and this is not breaking news at all, but the striker that we sign this summer at the end of the summer has got to be the biggest cock in the roost. If it isn't not necessarily a big name, but like a big producer, a proven producer, not a reclamation project, then the speed at which the casual fans have been abandoning ship is going to skyrocket, and the stadium isn't going to be sold out every single match like we've seen these last seasons. And it's going to be really difficult to watch a losing franchise so early on in its history. So this is a note out there for Corey Ray and DeMay. You need to start leaking information to the media to build some hype back into this team of who you're looking at to sign. And if it's going to be like a James Rodriguez to Real Madrid signing based off of a World Cup performance, I'm going to need something a little bit more than that. I'm going to need somebody who's proven himself before they got to the World Cup stage and then continues to prove himself once they get to the World Cup stage. I don't want to see a Ronaldo. I don't want to see a Harry Kane. I want to see someone young, someone
take Harry
fast.
Kane. I mean, if we're talking about Harry Kane.
I wouldn't sneeze at Harry Kane.
I wouldn't either, but we all know that's unrealistic. But like that height of a player that's still currently playing in, Europe's top 5 leagues. I want someone younger who fits the system, who's going to have their hips facing goal when Marcel Hartl squares the ball over in a 2v0 situation.
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah.
At the bare minimum.
You're right. I mean, I think about successful MLS strikers in recent history, and a player like Cucho Hernandez comes to mind. I mean, 20 goals almost guaranteed in multiple seasons in the MLS. Brandon Cruz, when he was at his prime, was ripping it up for FC Cincinnati. We need someone of that caliber who's going to come in and be damn near MVP level. I think it's very simple.
Yeah, I mean, a throwback name to add to that list, Mike McGee's MVP performance for Chicago Fire back in the early 20 teens.
LA
real
Galaxy
ball knower
goalkeeper, right, Mike McGee.
Also, I said
Nah,
Brandon
this was a
Cruz. I meant
striker.
Brandon
God.
Vasquez. I meant Brandon
He
Vasquez.
played goalkeeper one game.
Oh, you are right. That is elite ball knowledge, Grayson.
LA Galaxy
MVP goalkeeper, bro. He's good. What can I say?
No, Jacob, I completely agree, dude. This striker needs to be someone that will cement their names in MLS history books as someone who was a demon, someone that teams hated to play against, a hardworking thrasher of a striker that
It's gonna
gets
turn this franchise around.
quite literally, yeah, someone that's gonna sell jerseys like this. We're talking about a statue level player, is what St. Louis City needs right now.
I feel like it might need more than one, but I say we start with the striker this summer. See what happens.
Let's start there.
Just start with that, okay? Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. That just about wraps up the Austin FC battle, but we got one more chance to get our licks in. Ring that bell, gents. It's Kick Clash time.
Bing, 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 bing. All right. So, I would have to say with this Austin FC green kit and the Austin FC green stadium and regular green grass, it was kind of hard to see Austin on the pitch, even though I do like this kit. It was kind of tricky, kind of messed with my eyes a little bit. What do you guys think about this Austin FC home kit?
I like it. As a green
He
lover,
likes it.
I like it. I gotta say, as far as Austin FC kits go, it's not my favorite. They've had a lot of good ones in the past, especially with that green and off white is so good. But I do like the vertical stripes. It's nothing crazy. It is just good colors. Those are good colors, great colors. Even love the color green. Did I mention that I like green? So I'm
green.
gonna rate it an 8.7, pretty high up there. But Austin FC's they got it down.
For the template? An 8.3 for the template?
I got
The color goes a
cowboy
really
boots.
long way.
Yeah, I think that it would match my cowboy boots nice in Austin.
The Verde does go very hard. I'm up there with you, Ethan. Not at nearly, well, kind of nearly as high as an 8.7. I got this one at a flat 8.0 to make it easier on our editor for math purposes for the City Boys averages. But I do like this kit.
He knows him better math.
We'll take it.
I think this kit is, like I said, template. It seems it's pretty basic. It's pretty formulaic from Adidas here. I do like the colors. The colors help a lot. It earns me a 7 flat. I do love. I've loved Austin kits in the past, specifically their 2023 kit, which is just hectic, covered in all the different lines and stuff. I love that kit. This one is all right. I actually really like the one that's just really big, black, blocky lines. I like that one more. So, I don't know. I've seen better. 7. Thank you, Austin, for the matchup. Please don't beat us like that ever again.
Don't even think about
Don't even think about it. All right, that handles that match. So let's go ahead and talk about our preview for our next matchup, which happens to be a place that I've lived previously. I've been to a couple of these games. Colorado Rapids coming up. The Rapids are an interesting side. They were very solid at the beginning of the season. Just about smashed every team around us in the table. But recently has been in a dip of form. So they've not won in, I think, their last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. They got 2 draws in there, 1 to LAFC and 1 to, well, I guess that technically isn't a draw. They tied the Colorado Switchbacks from the Colorado Springs in the U.S. Open Cup. They tied, went to penalties 2-2, and did advance. So technically that's a win. But if you're going to pens against the USL team, isn't it really a win? I don't know.
Fills you with hope. Fills you with hope when you're a bad MLS side.
Exactly. And funny enough, that next match, they faced our next opponent in the U.S. Open Cup. They lost to Houston 1-0 in their most recent match. So, yeah, Colorado is a team looking very different than they did at the beginning of the year. They still have a very solid offense, much better than us this season, that's for sure. They got 22 goals on the season, which is
Ooh,
more than double us.
quite a lot.
But they're not super great defensively. They're actually pretty similar to us defensively. So there is an opportunity to get goals here. Jacob?
For those of you who don't keep up with Colorado, they are semi-new look squad. They no longer have Georgi Mihailovic. He's in Toronto now. He was their super low-key elite center attacking mid, definitely in the conversation for top 10 in the league. He's no longer there. They also lost. They sold somebody else who was really good for them last year. Maybe not sold, but no longer plays for them. Anyways, just as a preview, they're not the exact same squad they were last season
Not at
when
all, no.
they kind of gave us bits.
No, man. And they did pick up a good player in the offseason named Georgi Manungu, who loves a game against St. Louis City. He is
I
a
forgot about
prolific winger in general. And the combination of him and Rafa Navajo is feeding families in Colorado right now. Unfortunately for Colorado, they have, in my opinion, one of the worst goalkeepers in the MLS in Zach Steffen. I really hope that they play him against us. The amount of bad Zach Steffen moments that I've seen in the last 2 years is it's close to 5. He let in a bad own goal earlier this year. In terms of goalkeeper matchups, St. Louis City has a heavyweight coming out against a featherweight. It is a good matchup for St. Louis City.
Did you just call Berkey fat?
No, I'm saying he's a
Are you body shaming Roman Berkey right now?
Anyway,
Roman Berkey the
also they have Rob Holding,
who American now.
Yeah, well, maybe
not American, no.
But
he got he doesn't count as an international player now.
99 appearances for Arsenal in his day. Not quite 100. Jacob doesn't rate him. Who? I think he would be all right. I think he'll be all right. A player to look out for.
He's less famous for his play and more famous for his really good hair transplant.
Fair play.
That's something I remember him for during his Arsenal days. It was his receding hairline.
I'm sure he loves talking about that.
But yeah,
that's his fun fact when he introduces himself.
They also picked up Paxton Aronson to replace Georgi Mihailovic, little brother of Brendan Aronson, U.S. men's national team fame. Paxton is actually pretty solid. I think he's got 3 goals on the season. Not great, but tied with our top goal scorer. So their top goal scorer, Rafa Navajo, sucks, but he is very good. He's having a very good season this year. He's pretty solid. I just don't like him. And I fear that he might score against us. But we do like to shut him up when he plays against us. We'll see how the defense holds up. Is this an away game?
I believe we are in Colorado for this game, which really does not favor us. We are in Colorado, and historically this season, St. Louis City is not very good on the road.
This season? Just period.
Okay, let me have a goldfish memory right now, Jacob, because if I think about it too hard, it makes me sad.
Dude, we won one away game last year.
It's more than this year, I guess. Anyways, I don't like our odds on the road. I'll put it like that. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. We did win against Chicago Fire on the road this year, so that's a win on the road. I just don't.
We beat the Revolution away? No, I was home. I just wasn't here.
Grayson, you brought up the Colorado switchbacks in the Open Cup game. I did watch that game, and Colorado Rapids were not very convincing at all in that game, which gives me a little bit too much hope. So I'm going to say a 2-2 draw. And I'm picking Mekhi Joyner to score a goal in this game. I'll free up some space for you losers in the Barbie Dior, but I think Mekhi Joyner will get back on the score sheet after a couple games off.
Heck yeah. All right.
Fuck it. Why not?
Real quick before I make my prediction, I also want to shout out two other players from the Rapids. Their wingers, Darren Yappy and Dante Seeley, have been pretty solid this season too. I'm gonna say we lose this one 3-1, and goal scored by. Ooh, jeez. Who scores goals for this team? Not many people. Nobody. You know what? Someone has scored for our team, and I think they're going to do it again, and that's going to be McSorley. Let's go.
Okay, we got 2 sleeper picks to score.
Yeah, you gentlemen really left me with the pick of the litter of the heavy hitters. Yeah, I also
real heavy hitters like Simon Betcher.
The heaviest of hitters, heaviest of side net hitters. Aha!
I'm not laughing at that.
Yeah, we're losing this game on the road, in a geographically tough place to play, which is Colorado. Don't really have the lungs. All of our players look tired all the time. Don't really have the legs for it. Don't really have the passion to win unless it's against Chicago.
There's no passion. There's no aggression.
We walk on the field and just already have lost. We look pretty defeated. Shoulders slumped over, heads down. Work rate's low. Honestly, St. Louis City's lost its grit. We're bitch made. We're little sis. We're little bro. So we're losing this game 2-1, and Edu's gonna score.
I hope that the players don't watch this.
No, I hope they do.
Timo, you like our stories sometimes.
We can run it in the parking lot. I don't fucking care. At least I'd see some fight from you guys at some point this season.
That's not what I was going to say. You're like 2 times my height. I don't want to see you anywhere. Yeah, I think that just about covers our preview. Do we have any grab bags, gentlemen, before we dip on out of here? What do we got?
I got one single grab bag, and that is if you are able to attend this Bosnia Panama match in Energizer Park, I am extremely jealous. I imagine that Energizer Park is going to be absolutely bumping for that match. And if you can get there, I would highly recommend it. The Bosnian soccer community in St. Louis and all over the world goes crazy. So that's who I would be cheering on. I think it'll be a really fun game. And if you can't go to the game, get down to the pregame and stuff. It's a great time if there's a soccer game going on in Energizer Park. So get out there and experience that. It's good stuff. That's all I got, though.
How many grab bags?
No, my bag's empty.
The bag has been emptied for tonight.
Empty bag.
Jacob, take us on out of here, please.
If you've been watching this far on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your score predictions for the game this weekend. If you've been listening this far on Spotify, we appreciate you as well. Make sure you follow, rate 5 stars, and comment your predictions for the weekend. But most importantly, folks, because St. Louis City's ass, don't forget to tell your mother you love her. Peace. STL. STL. STL.
St. Louis City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. City Boys in the loop. City Boys in the loop. City Boys. Turn it up, run it back, that's the crew. That's the crew. From the stands to the streets, we true. St. Louis, City Boys in the loop. Red smoke in the sky. Game day in the eye. Every play, every fight. We gon' break it down right.